You should have it because you would have. And the county health department should have it because they would have approved it. So, you know, I can show the septic here and I can show the septic there.
Yeah.
Oh, Karen's in his tractor.
That's in the past.
Yes, yeah.
There's-
He's a.
And do you see Mac on?
Surveyor bag exception to the septic design.
Oh, okay.
You don't see Mac at
No.
all, right?
Then I'll allow them.
Did we send Mac? I'll make sure he's got a link on here.
I haven't started recording yet. YouTube is.
That's Dan in his tractor. Hey Chuck. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Running like crazy.
Marjorie, do you remember what date you sent those links?
Wednesday, I think Wednesday of last week.
I can't find the one.
Oh, it would have been 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
Let's see here.
I got it.
Got
Okay, so let me forward it to,
Yep. Yes, the name's on there.
what is Mac's planning board number? Is he 4?
Not 5 or 1.
It's not 5 or 1.
Yeah, what do you do?
What?
See, he's- What?
What's the planning board number emailed you to them?
Doesn't know.
Chuck doesn't know.
Looks like that one.
Mine doesn't work. I've tried like 4 times. I can't.
I'm sorry, I just want to get this to, we have one person that wants to join in. I want to make sure they have the link, so. Okay. I'm just gonna send it out to everybody.
Are you two? Chuck? Or are you 4?
4, I think.
4, I think you are, I think that is 2. You're 4?
You're four.
4?
So 5, no, she's 5.
5, 1,
I don't remember.
5,
Three.
4,
I don't-
3. It's either 3
It doesn't say on my, maybe we ought to put it on the front of these.
I know it's 4. I'm logged into it right
Oh,
Is it 4? You're 4.
now.
Sorry.
Who's on first?
And then we can
Thursday.
get going. I'm sorry. Oh, shoot. He's calling me. Sorry. Mac, did you get the link? Okay. Thanks. Fine. All right. Oops,
Go ahead. You guys can see the changes.
all right. You ready to start? All right, welcome everybody to our July
Second.
22nd. Wait, the month's going by fast. 22nd, 2025 planning board meeting. Marjorie, do you want to take roll?
Deputy Chairman Nast,
Here.
Member Wilcott,
Here,
Wisnowski.
Here.
And Chairperson Brown.
Here. No, I do not either. But he got the link.
All right.
Okay. We have the minutes from our last meeting. Do we have any corrections? Very good. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
make a
I'll-
motion.
Oh, I'll second it. Chuck made the motion.
All right, Deputy Chairman Nast,
Aye.
Member Wilcott,
Aye.
Member Wisnowski.
Aye.
Chairperson Brown.
Aye. Our first order of business is public hearing 2025-10P Horse Pole Barn Site Plan, Rush Scottsville Road, tax map number 212.0-1-1.1. Marjorie, do you want to read the public hearing notice?
Notice is hereby given that pursuant to the provisions of the Town of Rush and 274A, 274B of the town law, a public hearing will be held by the planning board of the Town of Rush at the Rush Town Hall, 5977 East Henrietta Road, Rush, New York, on July 22nd, 2025 at 7:00 PM to hear all persons interested in the following applications. Application number 2025-10P by Larry Heininger for Luke Horst to build a pole barn on his property for his club's purposes. The parcel is located at Rush Scottsville Road, Rush, New York, 14543 with a tax parcel ID number of 212.02-1-1.1 and is zoned R30 residential.
All right,
It should be on.
is it on?
Yeah.
All right. No, everyone can hear me anyway. Okay, well, as you know, on Thursday, I got a lot of comments from the. First of all, Larry Heininger, Vice President of Engineering, Marcus and Associates with offices at 930 East Rochester, New York. Thursday, we got a lot of comments from the town engineer. And some of them. Luke said a lot, it's all this for a driveway and a barn, but. I've shown the board the DEC wetland mapper, Monroe County GIS and the National Wetlands Inventory. There are no wetlands on Luke's property. There is a stream that crosses about 1,500 feet. Way in the back, because the gradient, dropping 23 feet over 528 feet, roughly 4.3%. It's kind of a wet spot or a little riblet. Anyway, we won't be anywhere as close. We will update the acreage to be disturbed after the site plan's been revised. Right now, I think it's going to be about 0.14 acres less. It's going to drop from 0.73 to 0.59. But what we do is after we finalize the grading, we polyline it. And then that gives you a very accurate answer. In any event, it's going to be under an acre. Now, on the contacting SHPO, I did request that if the town required SHPO review for the neighboring property 899, like to get a copy of that SHPO report. I'll be contacting Paul Powers at Paul Powers Archaeology. He did a project for me for a CP Ward project in Avon in the last year and a half. So he can do the SHPO as requested. Does the board really feel that we need to go to SHPO for this? I mean, some of these comments are pretty out there. Because it could be like a 60-day time frame.
So what typically happens is, if you fill out the SEAF, right, the Soil Environmental Assessment form, if you do it through the DEC website, they will automatically populate some of these cells. So doing that is recognize that there's an archaeologically sensitive site within 5-mile radius of this property. Typically what SHPO requires is an online submission of the plan and the seeker form on their, what they call it CRS, or we call it the CRIS website. You submit the plans and they have 30 days to respond back to you whether it is archaeologically sensitive site or not. If they find that there is known Indian burial grounds or known artifacts within close proximity to the site, they will likely flag it and request an archaeological survey, which Paul Powers would do, or Powers Archaeological would do. It's their determination, right? It's something that the board can't really decide for SHPO. It's a relatively easy process to submit it to SHPO for review. I've seen in the past is the building permits conditioned on that, and either a no impact letter or no response. They have 30 days to respond to you after you submit it.
We have had that on other plans, so I mean, that's.
No, I mean, I'll contact Paul tomorrow. I was surprised, but
I think it's
you know,
just
I've done
it's,
projects where we had to plow the field and then we had to wait for rain, and that site is not conducive to plowing the field anymore.
I've had projects that have been submitted, and the director of SHPO called me up directly, says that's a known Indian burial site. So
John Lindbeck, can I ask you a question? As far as other houses that were built up on, those large houses that were built in the behind, have you been around since when they were, okay. I don't recall any archaeological significant,
Well,
Digs.
we're gonna do it. I'm
Yeah.
just kind of
Well,
saying,
it's-
I've seen
so basically you're gonna be doing it'll be a 30 days
exactly what
review.
you're John
Brennan.
Brendan Marks. Okay, nice to meet you.
nice to meet you.
Okay, so then you'll determine, so it'll just be a determination by
All right.
SHPO whether it's significant or not, and you'll
And I'll-
respond
Number
accordingly.
4, I'll change the answer to yes on the Class C stream way in the back. And the same thing, the potential wetland 1,400 feet from the barn. Have correspondence from Mary Johns. There's 2 mains, 8-inch cast iron, which is transmission, 8-inch asbestos cement. And all services come off the north side, which is asbestos cement. She told me what the price would be, $34.70, including a meter tile. And pressure in that area is about 64 PSI, so I believe it's gonna be 1.5 inch poly service after the curb stop and the meter tile. And standard thing is they always want 15 feet of frontage as an easement for anything they might want to do in the future. And as the building's not heated, I think your suggestion of a barn hydrant similar to what you'd find in a county park is a good idea. Mike Marcus can seal the plans. I'm going to be sealing the plans because they are really an engineering site plan. And we'll be sending out for utility records, and I did use the survey wheel and locate power poles up and down the road. Maybe of interest, the power's running on the south side and it is 3-phase. Because, and how do I know that? Because we had to run about a 1/4 mile of 3-phase down to the Three Vision Temple, and that was about 39 $1,000, which was a pretty good deal, actually. Luke family does have a brush hog, so we can give him line. And they can clear on the line for the survey crew, because otherwise it's machete time. And we'll locate trees, either side of the driveway, 6 inches or larger. Site distances, I could say it's a long, long way, but looking west, it's about 1,500 feet, and looking east, there's a little rise, and that's about 1,000 feet. And I did it with a wheel, but I also did it with my odometer, and I clicked off 0.3 miles west and 0.2 miles east. And this is the same 45-mile speed limit as Srividya and 50-mile-an-hour design speed. And so we're looking at requirements of 550 and 435, so we've got plenty of site distance. I've reduced the driveway length from, and how we got there was Luke's original little sketch showed it back behind the houses on the frontage. So I located the barn there and then drew a driveway to get there. After these comments came in, I said, well, why we put the barn behind these people? Let's move the barn so it's behind our frontage. And you do have 110-foot front setback. I'm actually 110 feet from the rear property. So I'll step up. This very faint line is 110 feet from here. That's 110 from the right of way. So that's really his front setback, side setback, rear setback way back there. So this barn actually could come closer, but right now I'm 110 from there. And when we're coming in close to a 90 here and then turning to square up, so your sight line, you're not going to look all the way down in a bowling alley to the parking. Anyway, you have the driveway length reduced, so 500-foot fire truck no longer required, but we will submit the plan to the fire marshal. Zoning R30, front 110, side and rear 25, building coverage. It's got to be 25, under 25% of the lot, we're well under that. And the building and the hardscape has got to be 50% of the lot. It's a 30-acre lot. We are well under that. Max height is 35 feet, and height is measured between the eaves and the ridge. And there's no maximum building size that I could find in the code. But the barn is supposed to be not only 30 by 50, it could be instead of 50-48, so you're on 4-foot centers. You have a minimum building in that of 1,200 square. You don't have a maximum, but the barn is nominally 1,500, and we'll have it on the site plan. I've recommended to Luke that he contact Ray Martin Barns out of North Rose. He builds a very nice wooden barn, 6x6 posts on 4-foot centers. Wood is friendly, metal is not. And I built 2 barns for clients of ours. Parking's been revised to 10 by 20s, and we will note the accessible parking for Luke. There's no section for barns, so the closest thing I could find is a club, because this is a trail walking club. And so this is kind of a question for directed at John Lindbeck. If I have a 1,500 square foot barn and 600 square feet is for the meeting space, which is the footprint of a grandma house, my house, and you have 100 square per person, then you need 6 parking spaces, including the handicap. And the rest of the barn is for storage of the mowing. Does that make sense? Okay. Right, I don't know whether it's 100 or 110 or 120 or office space, people get a 10 by 10 cubicle or something. So we'll have 6. Lucas said that he's planning on putting in a concrete floor. So the walkway will be concrete also. And he's gonna have a drive overhead door, both east and west, so he can open the doors and have flow through ventilation. I know the front door will be a concrete ramp. Not sure about the back, might be some crushed stone, or we might use some of the geogrid that I showed you for the green parking at Shrewd Vidya. I'll go back through the notes. I thought I had all the applicable notes in the lower left. If there's any that are remotely applicable, we'll put them on the drawing. And we'll be revising the drawing to our standard engineering drawing, not our survey drawing. And then I will do site-specific erosion and sediment control, add a sequence of construction. And then we, as I said earlier, with polyline, the disturbance, anticipate a stockpile for the road cut, when they scrape off the topsoil. And the driveway will have a mirify and then a crushed stone, probably 2 lifts. And then we'll be showing silt fence. And the parking lot, which will be crushed stone, will be in staging area. And we'll show a concrete washout because they're having a concrete floor, they're gonna use concrete. We'll add a note about post-construction stormwater. Luke indicated he'd like to have a light next to the van door, and whether he doesn't make sense to have it not be on when you come down at night, but so it'd be on a solar, or maybe he just will only visit during the day when you're gonna trail walk in the daylight. I referenced the Miano subdivision done by McLeod in '86. And it shows the driveway to be abandoned. I kind of had to look for it, but we'll put some topsoil on it and seed it so that it's more abandoned. And the Miano sub also shows the location of the leach fields for the 2 frontage lots. And we'll add the construction details as requested. I didn't want to list them all. That's it. And I'll seal the plan. So. You want to give us approval subject to tonight, or do you want to see my smiling face again in August? Your choice.
Well, I think the biggest change, I think if we were dealing with just keep having the barn where it originally was, we probably could have worked through a lot of it, but the location is changing.
What's the difference? It's well off the road behind the setbacks. And it's easier to maneuver for a fire truck.
I would prefer to see a fuller set of plans before we. But that's just my preference. I had a couple questions just
Sure.
on the water. So you'll have water service. What's that gonna look like at the barn? Is there gonna be a sink? Is there gonna be just a spigot? Just a spigot. Oh, okay. And probably be outside the barn and,
Yeah.
Like in a park pavilion at
Yeah.
the Funds Park.
okay,
For
that's
frost.
what I was picturing.
Fire hydrant.
This came along, Luke said, I'd like to have water, and I'm like, okay.
So there's no electric service, so any lighting would be solar or some type of alternate. There's no other power source. You would just have a,
No, it's gonna.
okay, so
Yeah, he will need.
I have a bunch of those solar spotlights. They work pretty well, but they're motion censored and just so they only turn on when you're there.
Yeah.
It's kind of on and off as you walk around, but if that's the type of thing you're looking for. It just make sure it's not too bright and down and points down.
So are you saying you want to pull power from the road?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
So I think it just would be best if we have an updated plan that shows,
I'm fine with that.
okay,
I'm not,
Mr. Chairman, if you might, I listened to what he had to say, his responses. I had a chance to look at this.
okay, I was gonna,
Since I received it this afternoon. Thank you, Marty. So there's three, maybe four, main things I just want to bring up to the board. The no, we already talked about the no impact, and that's, I would recommend it. In the wetland, the only reason we brought up the wetlands, in January of this year, the DEC updated the wetland rules, basically saying all their mapping is null and void. If you want to know where their wetlands are, you have to send in a JD request through the DEC. If there's any uncertainty, they've also added some informational layers which show up on purple on some of those mappings, and it doesn't look like it's on that map, but. So we did note that there is a wetland in the back of the property. It does appear that he is over 500 feet.
I was
or
gonna
so
say,
from
if
that.
he's over 500
So,
feet, he's.
Yeah, okay, so you do have the purple wetland
So-
maps.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
We don't
uh,
wanna have to go to E DEC.
and that's fine with me, that's, if there was any uncertainty of the board. Then we would ask them to have jurisdictional determination or some type of correspondence and see. But I can agree with the board saying that it doesn't look like it impacts the wetland. The appendix D of the fire, and the only reason that I'm really bringing this up because it's club, there's gonna be public there, right? If it was personal use, maybe this would be overlooked, or maybe this would be not necessarily a big deal. But the appendix D of the fire code does say anything over 150 feet has to have a fire truck turnaround on it. We don't necessarily need the pull-offs. The pull-offs would be required for a pumper truck to be able to stage on the side of the driveway. And then the fire apparatus vehicles to go alongside of it. Most fire departments say they have 600 feet of hose on the truck, right? So they gotta be able to pull the pumper truck off, pull the apparatus road truck beyond it so they could fight the fire. I don't think you need a pull off, but there is a concern of turning around the emergency vehicles at the end of the driveway. So a turnaround should be provided, or some communication with the fire marshal saying, yeah, we're okay backing up down 420 feet, or we can turn around here. So, and if there's correspondence to the fire marshal that says that, then that should satisfy the board. If not, a fire turnaround should be provided.
And well, the fire marshal wants a turnaround back. Or fine.
Yeah, well, the biggest thing is if you've got like an ambulance there with someone hurt on it, you gotta get them around, get them out first. You don't want them to say back up 420 feet onto the state highway to get out. So, then the last thing is the DOT entrance. It's gonna have to get a DOT permit.
It's an existing driveway.
There's change of use on the driveway, so that most of the time the DOT wants to see a permit pulled if you're changing it from an agricultural field entrance to a.
It's not an agricultural field, it's existing driveway.
The only reason I bring it up is mostly the DOT likes to see the entrance paved to the right of way, to prohibit track out of stones or any damage to the shoulder by trucks and traffic driving over the shoulder.
We talked about that at the last meeting, that's what the town requirement is.
Well,
Paved in the right of way here.
all right, in my
April.
Thursday night stroll, one of the adjoining properties just brought in basically a whole bunch of millings and redid their driveway right up to the edge of the asphalt. So millings, crushed stone 1As.
It'd be up to the DOT to.
All right,
Like, see, I mean,
a
the
little story. I just finished a job. Three women psychologists or whatever they are, you can talk to them about their problems. They had their office in the Panorama Office Park. They bought a 1960 split level on Route 250 to make it their office that they would own. The only parking area was in the front yard. There was an 18-foot wide driveway, house built in 1960. Town of Penfield required they go to the DOT and they get a permit for the driveway, which had to be widened from 18 feet to 28 feet. It took, from the time we started, 4 years to get it done. 4 years. 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 4 1,000 feet this way, 1,000 feet that way. Took 9 months. Took 9 months to widen the driveway.
Well, this is Rush, not Penfield.
No,
I
but
think so.
it's still a DOT, it's still a DOT highway.
Yeah, but
The- So if you want us to go down that road,
we've been all
then it
down.
costs them about $9,000 of our time.
The residential or similar to this would be permitted to the regional office, with the regional and traffic engineer. Usually they're relatively quick to issue these type of permits. Well, yeah, only reason that I caution it is you break the shoulder of the road by concrete trucks and everything else driving over it, you're gonna hear from the DOT, and it's not gonna be as good if you told them ahead of time what you were doing. Most driveway entrances on the DOT roads have tapers, that they did when they paved the road that supports the shoulder, so you're not gonna break it. Vehicle traffic.
And this plan shows a new, you're widening the driveway. You're up to the side of the, yeah, so if you're doing the work there, then I agree.
Well, we'll go down that road. And right down the road is Crowmore Farms with a pretty darn big curb cut, all gravel.
So. Are we? I ask another question.
You can.
So if it's a meeting place and you have electric and water, but no facilities, so are you gonna have an outhouse or of service, porta john service? Because I mean,
Yeah, those get more fun.
because otherwise it's could be problematic for neighbors. Like, I have a camp in the woods, but I have a outhouse, you know.
Well,
You
the other
have
option,
some place.
if he has power, he could use an incinerator toilet.
Well, thinking out loud.
But I'm
is, I
just
mean,
saying, I actually
Kinda.
thought about whether for this type of use, a 600-gallon septic tank in a very, very small field on the downslope work. But then you have an unheated building and you have water in the tank and that could,
I guess that's where I was going is, are you planning, trying to put in a septic system? All that,
this project just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Larry, I understand
That's fine.
both sides of this.
Oh, the
I think
parcel
Luke needs to
documented
know that, that's the kind of stuff to do. Eventually, as the group grows or what have you, you're gonna have to try to figure that all out, so.
Right.
I'd rather bring it up now than later, and then we get complaints
Okay.
that,
Let
stuff
me-
going on that we didn't address, so.
All right, let me enlighten you about parcel JDs. Very recently, we have a project in Farmington, it's 2 tax maps, and there's a Niagara Mohawk power line right through the middle of the same tax parcel. Down on the lower parcel that we're 600 feet away from and about 8 feet higher, we want to build a couple houses way up here. Same tax account, there is a federal wooded wetland. Town required to get a parcel JD. Send it to Albany, they come back and say, oh, there's a wetland there. Well, we knew there was a wetland there. We want to know whether this is going to be a problem for us to build some houses up there. So the next thing is contact Scott at Region 8, and he's got to go out and take a gander at it. Just had one up 5 Mile Line Lowe's, the parcel adjacent to the east, send in the parcel JD. No response for the 90 days, sent them a certified letter, priority mail. They immediately came back and said, oh, by the way, there are wetlands on the property. There are class 1 wetlands west of Lowe's, which is all the detention ponds that were designed by Costitch in 2002 along Shipbuilders Creek and buffered. I'm like, first of all, that's not even our parcel. And secondly, are you proposing that you now are going to shut down the entrance drive to Lowe's from the signal light and then take away half of Lowe's parking with buffer zones, which means that the store is not operational. So again, go down and see Scott Jones and Region 8 Avon. So with this parcel JD, I'm gonna go directly to Avon. I'm not gonna goof around for 90 days to be told we don't have wetlands, but to be told what I already know. Because the 3 parcel JDs have come back and just confirmed that I know how to read those maps. Does that make sense? I mean, I also have an Army Corps where they sent me the permit for saltwater marshes on the Delaware. And I've got to go to Albany, go down to Buffalo and meet with some people and say, is your little federal wetland problem with us building a couple houses? And they sent me 15 different permit applications, including the saltwater marsh in the Delaware, Chesapeake. So I need to be able to talk to people at a level that can actually make a decision. So in this case, we don't have wetlands, but I'm telling you, parcel JD is a 90-day waste of time.
And I think I'm not gonna speak for you.
It's okay.
I think we just discussed that you're quite a bit higher in elevation. And doesn't appear that there's any impact of that wetland that's there. And I think the board doesn't have any uncertainty to that. I'm not speaking for them.
This member is pretty well convinced it's not gonna be near the wetland.
There you go.
And based on the new regs, they're over 500 feet away.
Yeah.
Disturbance, so. I'm
I would,
good. Okay, so we have some things to
There's 3 things to do.
do.
I need to talk with my client. See how far he wants to go with this.
I just have a clarification on electric service, pretty much just for power and lighting. So
Yeah.
no other special use or no other, okay.
And I would think for, like, some type of bathroom, some sort of porta potty and show it on there, and then if, with a note that if group grows in size, they would have to revisit upgrading.
the code, the New York State Building Code does accept temporary facilities.
Right.
For use for something like this.
Hmm.
I don't know where the threshold tips over that you need to have permanent facilities. But I'm
Depends
sure,
on how many people would be occupying the space, and I haven't seen anything that says you have to have a permanent facility. in this.
right,
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah, and Luke did indicate that sometime in the future, he would like to insulate the barn. And we did one of these barns for a automotive use out in Hilton called Great Lakes Automotive. If any of you like muscle cars, Google it. That's got grease interceptors, the whole thing insulated. And I had to nuts around with 2 metal building people out of South Carolina. And they couldn't tell me what kind of load could be carried up in the trusses. And that's when Ray Martin said, why don't you just have me build your barn? So Danny Altamira, same architect, history did all the plans and the building code, and John can attest that he knows what he's doing. And we could build a miniature barn like that for Luke, depending on the funding. But if you got an insulated barn and it's and building actually has a heated floor, so. The mechanics standing on the floor, it's not cold, it's warm. So, again, I have to talk to my client, like what are the future plans?
Okay. Well, does anybody else have some comments? You gotta go to the microphone, please.
Please,
She wants to know what address.
state your name,
Address.
name and address, please.
Name,
State your name and address.
Okay,
For the record.
Nancy Heiss, 867 Rush Scottsville Road. We live right next door to the property. When I hear porta potties being out next to my house, I don't like that idea. Would you want porta potties sitting next to your house? I don't think so.
Luke, where would you put it? Inside, outside?
Outside, I mean, it's gonna be 500 feet back. And in the woods. Really, what's that?
And it,
Maybe if you could clarify whether it's the front and back side of the building.
well, that's what I was just gonna, I was thinking, maybe he could put it on the side of the house that's not visible to your
I mean, it's
property.
not gonna be the- Here, the barn.
I still don't like the idea. I mean, would you want it next to your house? I don't think so.
I got one here, I'm close to the town hall, and we got one out here at the town park.
It's just my,
And it's,
No.
and it's about the same distance away. I'm not saying that you don't have. I respect what you're saying. I understand.
If they're serviced properly, which again, if you have half a dozen people and it's serviced weekly, if you have this. It's not gonna be, it wouldn't be a problem, you know, and. The old fashioned outhouse, if you take care of it properly, usually isn't really a big problem either, you know, you gotta. Put a bag of lime in there and do your thing and whatever, but I mean, if it's taken care of and. Maintained and managed properly, it cannot be a problem, but it could be if you didn't take care of it.
Before we're going for, I believe we read the public hearing notice, but I don't think we officially opened the public hearing, so I'd like to.
You wanna start over?
Retroactively open it, just for the record, and then, we'll take all these, we'll ratify all the comments that were made prior.
Okay.
Um,
And we'll take your concern under consideration when we're looking at that. I didn't mean to minimize your concern.
for the board, the Heist property is 110 feet deep from the right of way. That's why I just put my scale on it. And that's here. And from that corner, there's 200. The revised location would be 400 feet away. Back corner.
This is your property right here.
It's a house,
We did,
that blank
you,
spot.
in this spot right here. So here's your back, looks like your back property line.
At 300 feet.
Larry, what was this distance right here? 110 feet.
Goes back 300 something.
This is the other. The new build. We'll check it. You're saying you go back here, you're 110 plus 240, so you're 350.
I think so.
Check it.
Because our total area is 1 acre. And we're 150 feet. Of course, the smallest one, so I don't have a spot.
Right, we'll check it out. I didn't bring my slide rule. I do have one though.
I have a joke about that.
Katie log decitrate.
Let me look.
You have
I
things.
have a lot of actually, trying to read,
This is,
but that's besides the point. Kids stole the garbage, I think. Well, yeah, we bought the property and we had him extended another 240 feet. So that's what we're concerned about. And is this the driveway to the barn?
yes,
Be the driveway.
And my wife was
Their barn would
concerned
be
about
here.
it not being too close to.
Well, if that's your back line, right now the barn would be 200 feet away.
Driveway.
Driveway is a little over 110.
This is Talos property, this is their property,
He's saying his property line is really back here.
110 feet.
I don't know, we're gonna check.
It's on the other.
But this is where the entrance is. This is where the current property line is.
It's this. Oh,
Luke originally sketched the barn here, and so I put the barn there and then I drew a driveway to get there. And then I'm- So, well, you know, why we driving an extra 100 feet, the barn.
That's what he's saying.
It's 300. It's a little over 96 yards deep, this property, 49.
Yeah, 6 yards, 300 feet.
300 feet,
Yeah,
like you
300
said.
feet.
I got it, basically. All right.
So she's concerned about the driveway being close to our line. With all the line, the traffic, and so
With what traffic?
traffic, any traffic. Trucks, automobiles. Motorcycles.
Going in on the driveway?
Yeah, she'd want them to be as far away as possible.
300 feet.
That's not inside.
Provide one of those is probably a middle ground, but this is where the existing entrance is. And this is where the property line is, so. You can move a little bit, but not far, and then start your curve.
Next one.
I mean, this is the day-to-day
Really easy.
operation. This is just for him to be able to.
There's every property.
Right now.
This is just for him to be able to
Right.
access the trails he's got.
Okay, yes.
I'd like
I
to,
needed to make that point.
all right,
I'm sorry,
I needed to make that point.
and we're making note, but why don't we make that point so that it's in the record? So you're,
That's summarized in there.
Yeah.
You can read it.
so your concerns, sir, we'd like to have them.
Would
Can
like
you
to-
speak in the microphone there?
Get it on the record. Thank you.
My concern is that the driveway,
Raise it just a little bit. There you go.
If you wouldn't mind, just state your name for the record, sorry.
my name is Edward Heiss. I live at 867 Rush Scottsville Road, Rush, New York, 14543. And we own the property on Rush and on Rush Scottsville Road, which is 150 feet shortest distance. And it is 1 acre. I know it's to be about 350 feet from the state road. We do not measure our property from the middle of the state road. We measure it from the edge of the state road, which may account for why it goes back further, that I don't know. Our main concern is that we would have traffic running very close to our property, accessing this long area. And we're concerned about that. Is that okay? Want to add something?
687, 867.
We got it, 867, correct? I guess maybe Luke, you could speak to, their concern about, numbers of vehicles coming in and out of there.
Yes.
For the construction?
No, once in general, once
years.
it's built.
Oh, wow, no. Like on 1 or 2 cars, maybe a week.
Of course, that can change it if it becomes project.
That's not gonna become out.
If you catch that bear.
Yeah.
But
That's a private pub, it's not gonna be big.
that's the point. If we could keep it as small when as possible, we appreciate that. I also have a question about the future. We understand there's another piece of property on sale to the east of us. We don't know which property is which, but doesn't New York state law say that any piece of property cannot be isolated? It has to be accessed. And as far as I could see, this driveway is the only access to land.
Typically, the state won't, you can't have a landlocked parcel. A parcel needs to have either road frontage or an agreement that they can get from a public thoroughfare to a certain lot. I don't know exactly the situation that you're talking about with specifics, but typically the state won't allow a subdivision or a creation of a landlocked parcel without some sort of ingress egress. Typically, if they don't have direct frontage, they'll require an ingress egress easement to facilitate, to make sure that that parcel that's away from the road had access to a public thoroughfare.
This seems to be the only access to that property. The rest of it is farmland and woods.
It's for sale, you're saying, that's adjacent to the,
On the other side of the gas line, there's a piece of property that's for sale. It's what, 47 acres?
oh, it's 58 acres, yeah.
Yeah.
58, yeah. It's right up the road from me.
Yeah, and I don't know how far over that comes. But that's not, the point is, if that is a separate piece of land, then there's no access to this except from Rush Scottsville Road. And so, are you gonna feel about a road? Anybody get in that area? I don't know, I'm bringing it up as.
I think that's accessible from Fisher Road.
Mr. Horst.
Mr. Booth?
Mr. Horst,
Say this.
Yeah.
I think that's. what
it's
it's talking
behind his property.
Could be.
And I believe that's accessible from Fisher Road.
How it is. Oh.
Yeah, see, it's accessible from down here.
Yeah, accessible.
The Buckeye pipeline is 370 feet from the center line of our driveway, station 00. And so the Buckeye pipeline's 370 feet. And the listing realtor is Angie Flack Brown, who actually lives in my neighborhood. And that parcel is on the other side of Heiss, east of Heiss,
Hmm.
and has road frontage. And east of
You're
that
talking about that
parcel is Ron's house,
Dispersed.
which is kind of way back and in.
It comes out to the road there.
It does have road frontage.
At least next down, it comes out to the road. And behind him is accessible from Fisher Road.
Okay. Any other comments? All right. Should I go through, I have the Conservation Board.
Sure. I mean, again, it depends on what you want to do.
Well, the one thing I want to, when I read through it, I think it goes in line with
Sure.
what we're talking about. So we received a resolution from the Conservation Board from the review of the site application. And their resolution was, they resolved the application was reviewed by the board and they approved the project with the following questions, comments. The applicant did not provide information details required for short environmental assessment form questions 10, 11, and 17, which I think have been addressed within our comments from the engineer, correct, Brennan? Issue to be addressed, are there plans for a porta potty and or septic system, which we have discussed here tonight?
Yeah.
We also received from the Department of Planning and Development in Monroe County. Their first, I'm gonna summarize these. I do, but their first comment was, is there a potential for state regulated wetlands, which we have discussed. According to New York State DEC in the United States Geological Survey, it appears a portion of a stream is located on the property, which we have addressed. And they had comments on about maintaining, all right there, Larry? Okay. About maintaining protecting the stream corridor. So in other ways, limiting the, any development and whatnot closer to the stream. Then there's the discussion on the Article 25 AA of the New York State Ag and Markets Law about egg lands. And their sub notes are the Monroe County Department of Health plans for any extension or relocation of water main or sanitary sewer must be submitted and be approved by the Monroe County Department of Health. The project was not sent to the Monroe County Department of Transportation for review. Applicants should verify this agency. They do not. Correct. It's not a county road. So it wasn't sent to the Monroe County Environmental Services. I'll work with New York State DOT, work within the New York 251 right of way, including driveway and utility work will require a New York State DOT highway work permit. It appears this property is being developed commercially, which I don't believe it's considered commercial. The existing driveway entrance will need to be brought up to current DOT standards. And we discussed the driveway entrance.
So talk to one of those. Rochester, same process that I use.
So in light of getting an updated plan, we should
Public hearing.
keep the public hearing open. And reconvene next month.
Gonna get public hearing, so August.
Whatever this, okay. We need to make a motion on that? Okay,
You can make most of the public hearing open until the next board meeting on August.
okay, I make a motion to keep the public hearing open till our next planning board meeting, August 26th, 2025.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right, Deputy Chairman Ast,
Aye.
Member Wolcott,
Aye.
Member Wisnowski.
Aye.
Can I ask again?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mac, can you undo your mute?
Is he there?
You won't need him for a forum anyway, so.
Right.
Okay, good, all right. Okay, and Chairperson Brown,
Hi. No.
okay,
Did we ask everybody?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I zoomed out for a second.
Yeah,
That's what they should.
I got
Did we need to officially open the public hearing?
You do, you should open it, should be.
but we don't roll call.
okay.
I mean, reading the notice is part of it, but it doesn't hurt to have it on the record, to say that it's open. So then, again, if anybody ever wanted to say, well, was it ever opened and was it ever closed, at least we have it.
So could she make the statement that at the reading of the public hearing notice, that was the official opening of the.
We opened it and any of the comments that were made prior to the official opening were ratified, so it's.
Okay,
All right,
very good.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I'm gonna go on to. Is there any discussions or new business that need to come to the board? Okay, can I have a motion to close the meeting?
I'll second it.
Deputy Chairman Hance.
Aye.
Aye.
Member Wisniewski. Brown.
Aye. Thanks, Brian.
You can tell me about a line, you told me this.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. I think,
Brennan?
Yes, nice to meet
All right.
you, yeah.
Brennan, this is, I'm
Chuck
sorry,
Wilson.
Chuck
Hi,
Wilson
Nice to meet you,
You too.
and Steve Wisniewski.
nice to meet you.
Brennan is with our new